Today my minute is called Glock Girl. So fear is kind of a funny thing. Sometimes we're really afraid of one thing, but our fear of something else ends up being greater. I've always had a little fear of guns. I used to love shooting those little laser guns at the carnival, you know, where you'd light up the little thing or it would spin something, and I was usually pretty good at that. But the biggest gun that I had ever shot was a .22 rifle when I was a teenager out of a bale of straw. So, yeah. I've never had a desire to hunt or to kill an animal. I like to fish, that's about it. But I don't like the taste of game, and I can't see me shooting an animal just for the sport of it. So I just have never been into that. But I was always afraid of just having guns around. My exposure to guns has always been very minimal. I don't want them in the house. I didn't want to handle them. I was afraid I would hurt myself or somebody else by mistake. I was afraid my grandbabies might find, you know, a gun and hurt themselves. So my fears were endless, it seemed. Lots of excuses of why I didn't want to have a gun. But all that changed last fall. We have had a rash of break-ins in our area. Somebody even tried to steal my car. We watched them come up and get in my car, and we're like, what? And they ran away. They got scared and ran away, thank goodness. But I just, you know, we've had a lot of things going on in our neighborhood. And Matthew and his dad go to different appointments now and then, and I'm home alone. I work from home. And one day, a man that I didn't know was knocking on the door and banging on the door. And I didn't know what to do. I'm thinking, do I run out the back? What if he comes in? You know, I don't know where the gun is. I don't know how to use it. I don't even know anything about this. So all of a sudden, my fear of being a victim became stronger than my fear of handling a firearm. Sometimes in our lives, we face a lot of fears, right? Some of them are big, some of them are small. Some of these fears are unfounded and irrational. We won't talk about my fear of spiders, because I can guarantee you that at no time in my life will I ever be handling a spider, and if I see one, I'm running. Until the day I die, I am afraid of spiders. I'm not getting over that, but I'm talking about those fears of the unknown. We're talking about fears that may never happen. What do we do with those? You know, I suggest maybe, you know, relax, focus on today, and just take life one day at a time for those things. Because worrying about things that may never happen is just wasting your day, right? Yep. But what about the real fears that we face every day? How are we going to pay our bills? How are we going to feed and clothe our families? How are we going to overcome an illness? How will we make it through one more day with a grief that is so strong that it threatens to drown us? These are the real fears that we face. These are the ones that keep us up at night and scare us to death. But God says in 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." Psalm 34:4 says, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears." And Psalm 56:3-4 says, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you, God. In God, whose words I praise in, God I trust, I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me?" These verses all tell us that God did not create us to be fearful if we trust in him. And I mean really trust him. He will deliver us from all of those fears. If we seek him and we pray, he will calm the storms that lay inside and give us a strength to overcome them. Now flash forward a few months. You're now looking at a Glock 42 semi-automatic pistol owner who absolutely loves to shoot. I'm an NRA member, and I have earned my first 2 pistol qualifications, and I'm working on my 3rd. Who knew, right? So trusting God in this area of my life has not only led me to overcoming my fear of guns, but has also given my husband and I some real quality time together doing something we both enjoy. And it doesn't hurt that if someone does try to get into my house again, I've got God on one side and my Glock on the other. Amen?
Is that the G and G connection? I guess it's